13,000 kilos, 13 tons of cocaine has been seized by Spanish police. The National Police and the Customs Service and the Tax Agency have intercepted a container in the port of Algeciras that was transporting a total of just over 13,000 kilos of cocaine. That represents the largest seizure of the drug to date in the history of drug trafficking in Spain. And this is also the second largest seizure in the whole of Europe's history that has been found in one container. The agents have carried out 5 raids and searched homes and offices in Madrid and Alicante, and 1 person has been arrested, and 2 managers of the importing company are being searched and also in custody, but no charges in relation to that. So that is a phenomenal amount of drugs that they have seized and only 1 arrest, which seems just a bit odd, doesn't it, really? The police raid footage shows the moment they enter an expensive property, and they also seize a lot of drugs from there as well, and it shows how the lifestyle is associated to narcos and the amount of luxury clothes, shoes. Even the home itself was luxurious. And this will be something the police will be trying to take if they can get a conviction. And in Spain, similar to the UK, they always try to go after the assets. The Spanish police have said in a statement that the operation was in close cooperation with the National Police of Ecuador, and it also represents the second largest seizure in Europe. The drugs were travelling in a container coming from Ecuador and was transporting a load of bananas addressed to a Spanish importer that had been receiving large quantities of fruit from Ecuador for many years. This made it extremely difficult to analyse and inspect the shipment, the police said, and the cocaine was in packages of each box of bananas that were full, and in addition, fruit screens had been arranged to hide the drugs. The container had set sail from the port in Ecuador, from where it travelled to Algeciras, and the Ecuadorian exporter was listed in customs and police databases of having a history of illicit trafficking. Upon arrival in Spain, the container was inspected and discrepancies were detected, and they searched the cargo. So really look forward to hearing what the viewers have to say on that story. And before we get into some more narco news from Spain, I want to pay respects to everybody that has lost their life in the floods that took place over the 30th of October. Over 200 people have lost their lives, and there are dozens still missing after torrential floods struck Spain over the space of 2 weeks. Video footage from the helicopters shows the sheer devastation, and cars literally piled up on the highway, and at some points the mudslides were carrying vehicles away and also people. The European Space Agency even issued images from space to show the amount of damage and the amount of water that had actually got into residential areas. They reported that torrential rainfall caused the deadly flash floods that hit the southern and eastern side of Spain, including regions like the Costa del Sol and Malaga. Valencia in the east was also one of the worst hit, as these areas struggled to cope with the aftermath. The storm started when several different river basins burst their banks and released torrents of muddy water into the villages. It destroyed homes and swept away bridges and also vehicles, and over 200 people have lost their lives, thousands have been displaced, and many are still missing. Video footage also shows the police clearing the streets and also working together to try to clear up the residential areas after the main storm has hit. The weather agency reported that the extreme rainfall was a result of high altitude and low pressure weather systems isolated with a jet stream. This is known as Dana. These storm systems happen when the cold fronts encounter the warm fronts and humid air masses over places like the Mediterranean Sea. Satellite images from the 19th to the 31st of October illustrates the damage that has been done across these areas and how hard it is to access and how difficult it is for the locals to actually survive in these conditions. So massive respect to everybody that has came out to help everybody involved as well, and we send our thoughts to everybody that has lost anybody in this tragic natural disaster. In this next story, it's about 420 kilos of cocaine that was found inside a truck, and those arrested were using boxes inside the truck that were hidden to disguise the packages. The National Police agents have arrested 2 people and seized the nearly half a ton of cocaine hydrochloride that was hidden inside the truck on an industrial estate in Malaga. The drugs were hidden in the secret compartment in the floor of the trailer, and the 2 individuals had manipulated the framework of the vehicle to hide this. After identifying the suspects, the investigators checked the floor of the truck and found the irregularities and discovered the hidden compartment that had perfectly wrapped packages hidden very well. So I look forward to hearing what the viewers have to say on that story. And in some other news coming from Spain, but starting in Colombia, 250,000 ecstasy pills were seized by the National Police in an operation with Europol, the DEA and the National Police of Colombia. The tablets, they said, were synthetically made in a laboratory and they were being imported into Spain from Colombia. They were being transported to Madrid on commercial flights and they used suitcases. During the investigation, 2 shipments of the drugs were seized at Madrid airport and 120,000 pills and then another 130,000 with a total weight of 69 kilos. The investigation began at the end of July thanks to the National Police of Colombia tipping off agents in Spain on large consignments of the drugs being shipped out of the country via the airport. The organisation was using commercial aircraft and it was originating from Colombia and bound for Madrid, and their suitcases had a secret compartment which they called a folded compartment. And during the analysis of some of these pills as well, which is quite disturbing, they found understandably traces of ketamine. That's something I'm not surprised will be put into these drugs, but they also found traces of fentanyl, which is an incredibly concentrated version of heroin, which is thousands times more stronger, and you could OD on it very easily. So this is terrifying if this is the case, that some of these tablets are being contaminated with fentanyl and maybe deliberately being put in there as well. So make sure you're very careful with the drugs that you're taking when you're out and about in Spain, Ibiza, and all them party areas that you often go to. So I really appreciate you joining me for these updates. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and follow on social media as well at Scarcity Studios. Peace.